We did promise at our November press conference that we would be doing this monthly to update you, keep you abreast of the various developments that are happening at WASCO. And here we are. So today we're actually going to feature some of the projects that are ongoing, give you updates on that. And of course, we are open to your questions at the end of the presentation. I'm pretty sure that you have seen in your various groups and on our platforms the fact that we have launched a dedicated bill balance inquiry line, and that is available 24/7. Now, there are a lot of things that have to happen in the background for something of that nature to be made public. So we have been working on it for a few months now, and we're quite excited about it. Customers are thrilled about it. So again, this is one of the things that we're working on in the background. We are also working on a number of other exciting projects to do with digitization and things of that nature. So once all our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted, we will be reporting on that. Hopefully, at our next press conference, we should have some more details for you as it relates to the direct payment online. Yeah? And we'll be telling you about some of the fantastic features on our websites. So again, hopefully when we meet next month, we will have some more details on that. But for now, we have launched this, and we're quite excited about it, and we're looking forward to many more wonderful and exciting things from WASCO. To take you through the project updates, I call on my colleague, our COO, Ali Anthony. He will provide you with the updates on the various ongoing projects.
The Passes project is a project that has been on WASCO's radar for quite a while. Due to certain constraints in our infrastructure, in Passes, in terms of the limitations in its inability to treat water properly and to give the public or the constituents the quality of water that is expected, WASCO recently engaged financing with the CARICOM Development Fund to help fund that project. So that project is currently ongoing. So that project will essentially entail the construction of an intake, a pumping station, and a treatment plant. As you can see, the community had a lot of aging infrastructure, inadequate infrastructure, and as you might imagine, this is one of those communities that's rapidly expanding. So we needed to be able to cater to the demands of that expansion and growth, and hence one of the reasons why we had to embark on such a project. This project is intended to modernize water supply in Passes. Okay, it's going to have a state-of-the-art treatment plant, pumping station, new intake on the Mon Repos, because currently where we abstracting the waters from one of the tributaries way up in the hinterlands, and this is inadequate to supply the growing needs of that community. Hence the reason why we are installing a new intake and a new pumping station on the main river to supply that area. Okay. With regards to progress, for the treatment plant area, we are, in terms of the civil works, we are probably at almost 50%. So by third quarter of next year, that project should be completed. Okay. Our next project is one I think everybody should know of by now. That is the 5-kilometer pipeline from Millet to Vanard. This is a very critical project. Essentially, you can liken it to the main artery that leaves your heart, the aorta. This is the aorta for the north of the island. Okay, you would remember quite recently we just did we had an emergency shutdown where we had to do some emergency repairs, and then soon after that, then we had some planned repairs that we had to do. But the thing is that pipeline is woefully inadequate in terms of its structural integrity and also its carrying capacity. So this project will replace and upgrade that pipeline to a much larger size pipeline, so the carrying capacity will be higher. So with a larger carrying capacity, we will be able to effectively produce more water and supply more water to residents and consumers. So as you can see that the loan had been approved by the CDB with government backing, of course. Designs completed. We are in the process of conducting the evaluation for the expressions of interest for the consulting engineers who will be supervising that project. So as you would know, once you have a loan with the CDB, every single stage has to be approved and received and no objection. So this is a multi-stage process. So as soon as we conduct our expression of interest evaluations, we will be getting that no objection before we move to the next step of recruiting a contractor to undertake the works. To date, we have already been given the no objection for the hiring of the project engineer and the community liaison officer. Those subsidiary rules will be critical to the project in that since it's through the PMU that those projects will be managed, we have to ensure that the PMU is sufficiently manned so that this project is executed effectively and efficiently. Okay? There will also be another project where we'll be handling non-revenue water. My CEO will handle that part. But in terms of projections for this critical project, which is the raw water pipeline, we expect that the contractor selection to be approved and by the end of the first quarter of 2026. So 2026 is going to be a very exciting year for WASCO. A lot of works, they have to be done, and they will be done. Okay, there's another one of our critical projects, that's the treatment plant at Cicero. The treatment plant currently has 10 filters, but out of that 10, only 4 is able to be operated effectively. The 6 other filters have to be rehabilitated. You will recall sometime in 2006, 2007, there was a project to expand and rehabilitate the Tables treatment plant. However, what we've realized is that that rehabilitation that was done was not done satisfactorily. So we will now have to go and do some upgrades. And as you would know, with the new times, there are new technologies, and we will be utilizing new technologies to actually make a major improvement to that project. With those new technologies, now we will be able to treat a lot more water coming from the John Compton Dam via the 5-kilometer pipeline that we will also be working on. So there are those 3 projects which are the raw water pipeline, the Tables treatment plant, and there's one for the north of the island that we will also be embarking upon, which is the upgrading of the 14-inch from Monte Gap to Groseley Town Gap. Okay, so my other colleague, Ms. Celia Charles. Okay, so I'll handle it for you. So essentially, the 20-inch pipeline is another critical aspect of WASCO's infrastructure upgrades. In that, you would recall that there was the first phase, which was from the upgrade from the Monjiro junction to the Monte Gap junction. So that upgrade was done, and you would have realized the success of that upgrade. Now, we now have to continue it from that Monte Gap up to the Groseley Town Gap. To date, we have all the pipelines on ground, in our stocks for that project. So we are currently sourcing the fittings. So we expect the fittings to be in our stores by the end of this month. We have also received expression of interest for contractors to undertake the works. So we expect those evaluations to be completed shortly. So after those expressions of interest are done, we will now seek proposals from those contractors. But I must say that you would have also been aware that there is going to be road rehabilitation works. So we expect to complete that project by March of 2026. We must complete that project by March 2026. And that project will provide significant relief to the north in that because we're losing so much water in that corridor. When we replace those pipelines, we expect much more water to be available to consumers. But there's another thing that we must also bear in mind, in that the pipeline alone is insufficient, tables alone is insufficient, the raw water pipeline alone is insufficient, but once we are able to get those 3 projects completed, consumers should expect a much more improved water supply. These things take time and they're very costly projects, hence our inability to move as fast as we would have wanted to. Hence we have to pay borrowing money, seeking government support, finding financing from wherever it's available. Okay. So just a little update. So 3 contractors were shortlisted, tender process initiated by January to April. We expect to complete that project. Okay, so I said end of March, 1st of April. We expect those projects to be completed.
Okay. Now on the establishment of the non-revenue water unit, and I call on my CEO to guide us through that.
I'm really here to update you on our non-revenue water program. We are going to embark on the establishment of a non-revenue water unit for WASCO. And of course, this unit will be used for us to reduce our losses, because as some of you may know, some may not know, we have losses which would be both physical losses and we also have apparent losses. And that is what we term as our non-revenue water. So for our physical losses, we look at losses like leaks, we look at stuff like overflows, we look at things like busted pipes. And those things, of course, will prevent us from having more water to sell to you, the public. So we also have apparent losses, and these apparent losses are unmetered connections. We look at things like illegal connections, and we also look at inaccurate billing. So these two combined, both apparent and our physical losses, bring together our non-revenue water. Our unit is going to be established in January of 2026, and this unit will comprise of our SCADA, our GIS, and we will also look at our leak detection. So we have equipment currently where our staff can go out and they can assist persons in detecting leaks. We currently use it specifically for our greater pipelines, but we also will be offering services of leak detection to the general public as well. So with that unit being established in January, we are looking forward to improving our billing. We are looking forward to faster reporting and faster identification and also faster repairing of our busted pipelines. These will include from half-inch pipelines all the way up, of course, to our 20-inch pipelines. So we are looking forward to this initiative. I think that it is going to be one where the public is going to be engaged as well, because we obviously are going to need public support. We're going to need persons to call in. We're going to establish a platform where persons can call in and they can explain to us where the leaks are. You'll be able to drop your PIN, drop your location, and we will be able to respond to those in a faster and more timely manner. I also wanted to touch briefly on our new and exciting, I see we have some new persons. Okay. We want to touch briefly on our new and exciting bill balance inquiry system, where customers are now able to simply pick up your phone anywhere at any point in time, 24 hours, and you dial 457-3998, and you will be allowed to get your balance. So with that, we are hoping that this will reduce the number of persons who are unable to get their balances. You may be people who are unable to use the website, so you may not be able to have internet access, but you may have your phone with you, and you should be able to just dial 457-3998, and your bill balance will be given to you through the prompts on that system. So for us, we see it as exciting times. We know that Mr. Anthony spoke about all our projects that we currently are going to be undergoing. And in addition to our projects, of course, we have our non-revenue water unit, and we also have 457-3998. And with that, I think WASCO, we can safely say that for 2025, we have accomplished a lot. I know that we have had a few unplanned maintenance works that had to be done. And of course, when the works are unplanned, we always get, resistance. We get a lot of flack from the public. But of course, when we have the planned maintenance like we just recently did, we were able to complete on time, and we are certain that all areas now, both north and south, are receiving a supply of water. So that's pretty much it for us. I don't know if you have any questions you would like to ask us at this time. I'll ask Mr. Anthony to join me, and of course, Ms. Stevens.
Yes, sorry. Hi, good morning.
Yes. With this new unit you established, is it a way to more effectively help the general public? Because you know, WASCO has an issue with, well, a lot of people have concerns with the service and thing that WASCO provide. And are you hoping that this unit will help to beef up the kind of service that WASCO is going to do?
Yes, what the unit will do is that it will allow persons to call in, and it will allow persons, because we're going to include the control room, the SCADA, the leak detection, all under one hub. So with that being done, persons will be able to call in and they'll be able to report leaks. We're going to have a special platform for that. And with that, we will obviously be able to attend to the leaks in a more timely manner, and therefore we would have more water, obviously, for sale. So the more we can establish that unit, and the more we can do as it relates to us preventing leaks, as it relates to us preventing meter inaccuracies, then we would have more water, obviously, for sale.
Someone would argue that WASCO already has a 911 call where you could call police and they couldn't get a response. Are you hoping that it will change? This will help to change?
Definitely it will help us to change, because everything will now be under one unit. And we believe that with it being under one unit and with us having more staff to man that unit, persons will be able to get a better service from us. And that's what we're about. We're about now trying to improve on our service. And with that, we are confident that our service will improve, because we will be also increasing the number of persons in our control room.
And in light of that, talking about this, I noticed that you have a number of projects and all those projects cost finance and things. And I suppose one of the complaints that we were seeing on the WASCO is that WASCO is not a viable entity, not making enough money because they're only. Are you hoping that you will, how are you hoping to, will there be an increase, will there be a thing, because all those services, how are you hoping that WASCO will?
Well, a lot of what Mr. Anthony explained to you was loan and grant financing. So this is what we're looking at now, a lot of loan and grant financing, and that we have gotten a lot of, I guess, support from the government of St. Lucia. The government of St. Lucia has looked for us the CDB loan, where Mr. Anthony spoke about the 5 kilometers of pipeline. That loan has been supported by the government of St. Lucia. They're the one who's taking the loan. The loan for us to improve on our treatment plant as well, our Thebes treatment plant, that loan is from the CDF with a grant funding component as well. So we are hoping, well, we're not hoping, because we know for sure that those loans have already been approved. So that is how we are going to move forward with our enhancements.
Another bigger problem, like I say, was always about finance, and people are concerned that they're willing to pay more if WASCO service gets better. Are you looking for an increase or something to help WASCO? Or I know it's a NERC thing, but how WASCO?
Yeah, that will be done by the NERC. So the NERC is the regulatory body, really. So the NERC will be the one to determine whether or not that that increase comes through for us. But of course, we are definitely looking towards improvement in our service. I think that's the major thing for us right now. We want to improve our service.
Could you just detail for me, what does SCADA monitoring mean?
SCADA monitoring.
It's a system called supervisory control and data acquisition. So essentially, okay, if you are able to access your home camera system, this is a type of SCADA. You can literally stay from your office and view the condition of your network, the condition of your systems. So this is what it does. So it facilitates being able to observe, it facilitates being able to control, and you can use the information that it generates to predict how your system behaves depending on certain parameters that it faces.
Any other question? I know that you guys detailed the number of works coming up in the next few months. One of the issues that the public tends to have is the long interruptions and getting the roof trucking you guys say to that in terms of quelling any concerns the public might have?
Okay. What we try to do, the way we execute the works, we try to minimize the disruptions to the best of our abilities. For example, when we have a planned interruption, we would ensure that all our storage tanks are filled. You know, the network is closed off at a time when the public would have had an opportunity to store some water. And we also want to give sufficient notice so that they can also store water. And we give ourselves a timeline by which we have to finish those works. And this is what we try to do. It's an imperfect system, but we try our best, as you can see, with every subsequent shutdown, a planned shutdown, you can see we keep improving and improving on how quickly we are able to complete and restore supply.
And just to add to that, I know you spoke about it. Just to add to that, and Mr. Anthony, of course, will support me on that, we were able to procure 2 brand new trucks for 2025. So we have 2 of our own trucks now, so we can provide a better service. So because we never know when the system is going to, you know, go down. So because we have, like we said, we have planned maintenance, and sometimes we have maintenance that just comes upon. So what has happened is that with those 2 new trucks, we are confident now that we are better able to reach more of our customers. Yeah.
What are WASCO's plans for the during the dry season? I know it's just maintenance and recharging and all that. What are the plans of the organization to address those issues?
Well, we're looking towards. Well, we're not looking forward to it, but the projection is that there's going to be a very dry spell in 2026. So we know for sure that it's going to be a drier period than we had this year in 2025. So which is why we're trying to put things in place. We're trying to ensure that we have the trucks in place. We're trying to ensure that our catchments, you know, are cleared so that we can have, you know, as much the possibility of us being able to store as much water as possible. We're also looking to do some damming in Vanard as well. So we're doing that. So we are preparing for what would appear to be one of our worst dry spells in the last 10 to 15 years, which would be in 2026. Yeah.
And your message to consumers in light of this expectation?
Well, our message has been pretty clear, I could say, for the past 18 months. We've had a very clear message on water conservation. We've rolled out a very comprehensive program on our climate resilience. And we have been really trying to get the public to understand that we really don't make the rain. We are not responsible for climate change, but we are here just to act, just to support them, and just to do the best that we can to manage the limited resource that we have. So I think our message for 2026 would definitely be water conservation.
So thank you very much for taking the time this morning. And of course, we are open to your questions. If you do come up with a question that you perhaps did not get an opportunity to ask today, our numbers are available, and you can always make a quick call and ask the questions, yeah? So thank you again, everyone, for coming, and we will continue to update you. Remember, you can go to our website, our various social media platforms, so you have an idea of our conservation message that we've been spreading for the last year or so. Yeah? Thank you again. Have a good day.